You see, that's tricky because the numbers. I mean, those aren't the great numbers or anything, but also that I don't know the way to talk about stuff like this. I mean, it's part of. See, look, it comes from the space of someone, people who are realizing that people, or who do realize, or people are starting to realize, like people who don't, like that the country doesn't live in like political economic reality and the danger of that, or reality about the certain things about the world in some ways. But like, right, I mean, the cultural crisis is itself like a different people view it differently, because like I said, the one is, I don't even know if being so intense in that video that I tried to do, that's the right way to say it, because it's part of the tragedy. Like it's a tragic thing. It's not. See, to make an angry video about something. I mean, that's no better. There are part of the cultural crisis does involve people who are hateful against sort of people into people into the popular culture. They don't choose that. They sort of choose like some what would be more like it's some kind of sort of elitist culture, and they hate people who are interested in popular culture. Like that's also part of it. I mean, that the kind of ways people are feeding the part of them that wants to be entertained, or in some sense like is all indicate, it's not enough. See, it's so hard to talk about. See, because it's not enough to say, well, like people aren't, interested in it pervades the whole. To say the whole system, well, no, the whole part of the there are people who are upset about things like, that people are kind of I don't know, that they're what, they're walking advertisements, they wear like a shirt that says Adidas, that sort of bugs them. But like that people don't have their own, people don't have there's that kind of thing. They don't like that, or they don't like popular culture. But that doesn't, it's what people in our country are doing to entertain themselves. But it's also what at the universities would be thought to be the what you should be doing, and which includes things that are like some intentionally elitist and probably no fun. There's all kinds of ways that people don't know, and people don't know their own. It's not just the mass culture part of it. Remember, a lot of people don't know when they go to the bookstore and stuff that the book publishers, the stores, and the distributors are all one entity. It's true. The one entity owns all of the supply chain of so the books are, the books are, there aren't really the kind of books that, I mean, there's but that's not the fact that there's one entity in every sector that like brings people their entertainment. I mean, people don't seek out like their. I mean, how do we address the cultural crisis? I mean, it's not enough to just say like the people watch a TV and they're mostly watching commercials, or to say like do they realize what they're watching when like these type of shows like that aren't that are like that it's all the, you don't want to see it. You want people to, you don't want to make a thing that says like just throw out your TV. I mean, because what other kinds of, I mean, it's a hard thing to address. It's not just the lack of that we don't like have people aren't into classical culture. I mean, it's not that. I mean, it is and it isn't. I mean, what people are doing to entertain themselves indicates like that there's not much the culture for real. And like I said, a lead like what a professor at a college would say, like, would want to bring, like, but they would tell the people that what's on TV is stupid, so what you should do is, I don't know, like, get involved in things or entertain yourself in ways that will make you feel superior to people who, like sitcoms, so do that, you know, something like that, like, but I just people don't have their own culture, I guess, is part of the problem. So I don't know. I actually don't know how to address something like this. Tell you what me and my people do, for fun. I mean, the kind of stuff people like me, like when we do what we do for fun, like I mean, I remember the years when like we used to like yeah, it's different at different times, but like, is this something I could bring? Part of how we would see everyone, that's just it, we fomented our own culture, and that's the way we did it. But like, that would be the point, like, you don't have to do it that way. People do all kinds of things. It would just be an example of one type of culture that, like, me, and before I got lost in your California thing, like when I was in place, I knew people and stuff in New Orleans, like, what do we do, what people like me do, but we still keep in contact and still do the same things. We competed for that. See, we would attempt to, like, okay, let's do reading material. Let's try that. We have, what it is that what we the guys and the gals and the whole thing and everything, like, what we would do is like this, like, no, you don't like that. I don't know how to talk about the cultural crisis. By way of example, not. I don't know. You want me to change the channel? Is that bad? Is that good? This isn't working, what I'm doing right now, I don't think. I took a shot. Yeah, this is all. This is not. What's that? Oh, you guys send like mixed signals, and was that a mixed signal? Was that a mixed signal? Oh, I don't know. I mean, it just. I don't know what that was. I don't know what it's not working. I don't know how to talk about it. But I don't know. That's not what I mean. I just don't know. How do you talk about the cultural crisis? You know, throw out your TV. I don't know. Throw out your TV. Don't go to the movies. Throw out your TV. Don't go to the movies and see what happens. See what you come up with to do. That's the way to do it. When we didn't have a we didn't have a TV. Where I go, we don't have TVs, and we don't go to the movies. And we do different things. Like I remember a time, this okay, fine, like they ran a show on TV that was like kind of like, some that we saw, that was kind of like on TV. Someone saw it on TV. It's a show called Homicide, okay, and there was a guy in it who was like, his name is Yaphet Kotto, okay. And the thing is, like, when we were sitting somewhere watching TV, this girl says, "Well, I've seen, you see that guy, but I never know, like, what his name is. Like, he's in a bunch of movies, though, isn't he? And it's this guy, but you recognized him, like, he's been in a bunch of other stuff. Like, I don't know who that is. And we found out his name is Yaphet Kotto. So, like, and that he'd been around a long time. That guy, it's this guy. I've seen him in a couple things, like, but he makes an impression, like, he's like a cool person, like, but he's not really famous as far as we knew. Like, he's not really famous. Like, I know he's on this show and he was in like one other movie or something, but it's that guy. He's really cool. Who is that? So we found out that, like, we found out that the whole thing is that guy has been around for like a year, like back from black and white movie times. Actually, like, that guy's been around. That guy's been like in movies for so long. Looked him up, found out he's been in hundreds of movies. It's just So, when we looked into it, who is that? And when we found out that he'd been around that long, like from a previous era and everything, so we said, like, let's just do it. Why don't we just, like, do it? Why don't we find every movie he's in and just see if we can watch every single film? Like, we'll just do it for a while. Like, when we meet up, like, we'll just watch films in which Yaphet Kotto appears. And that was what we did for like anytime we were within the weekend or whatever it was, when we had time to do something, it took a long time to watch every single film in which this guy called the Yaphet Kotto, like, appears. But that's just it. I don't think he wasn't the star of any movies either, like back then or now. It's just like but he's been in so many movies. So we just like it took a while. It was like are we gonna meet up like like we so and so got a hold of another. They found another film that Yaphet Kotto is in. Like what's this one about? And a lot of the boring films. It's not that. It's that we wanted to see him act and like see him in these different roles and everything. But he's also been in like Nightmare on Elm Street 6. He's been in so many different movies, but then the black and white ones, like we saw him. Oh, like that's what he looked like when he was really young. Apparently, he was. I don't know. He just wasn't a star of any movie, but was in so many of them. So for a while, like all we did was like watch, just watch. We didn't. That's what we did when we got together is to see someone watch another film that guy appears in. And then that's what we did. I mean, is that we either come up with things to do that are like entertaining, but not in a way that's like stupid. Oh, who the hell knows? This is not a good example. This is not working. So we also had to do books. We had a competition to see like who could find the most disturbing book ever written. Who could find the most disturbing book ever written? Of course, it's not something you gotta look around. I mean, you really gotta like do your homework and everything. And they're all like, of course, as we went, like someone's like, look, you know what it is? They're out of print. Because right, someone in 10 20 years ago wrote something that's it's so sick, like they never of course it wasn't like republished or anything. Yeah, looking to see if we could find the most disturbing book, and the thing is like eventually one person like won the competition. It took a long time. He said I found it, and it's called Let's Go Play at the Adams, and he looked into it, found that the author, like there was some kind of like deranged person who I don't know, like it was someone who he only wrote one book, like he was someone who wasn't well or something, and then you had to get it. He got in the mail, it was like all used and everything, and then we all read it and was like, oh, that's the most disturbing book ever written. But it wasn't. But that's the kind of thing we used to do. Like I can't. But that doesn't have anything to do with. That's what one group of people that were close with each other did to entertain themselves, who didn't have a TV and don't like anything that's mass. Does that help to tell you that? Probably not.